All right, good afternoon. I don't have anybody with me right now, but that's totally fine. Welcome to oh, maybe I will. All right, good afternoon, Grant. We're just starting up, so welcome to day 17 for the AWD1115 database-driven website development 2 class. You got 2 emails from me today. The first one is what you see right now, and that is that we're going to go over the chapter 6 projects and then talk a little bit about the case study. It might be a short period today. We might be able to finish this in an hour, 2 hours. I don't know. Tomorrow, I'm going to do the entire Hot 2 test from scratch again. I got emails during the time the test was given that people were having problems with certain things on the test. So I thought I would go over it, and then we'll put this to rest, so to speak. And then Friday will be a lab, and on Monday, we'll jump right into chapter 7, which is on razor views. So your chapter 6 written test, your labs and your homework are all that are going to be due on Sunday this week. In addition, I sent you the seed data for the project that we're going to be doing this afternoon. So you got that too. And I'm just going to work right from that. All right. So with all that said, let's take a look at what we are going to do then. All right. There's 6.1 and 6.2. And basically it's the same program. But in 6.1, you're asked to create routes. So we're going to do that, of course. And then in 6.2, you're asked to basically remove those routes and instead use route decorating. All right, so we'll do both of these. Now, as far as the case study for chapter 6, it says improve the URLs for the app. And as we move down here, let's see, 3, 4, 4. There it is. I don't think you were asked to do very much again. You will modify the Sports Pro website so that it uses some of the skills described in chapter 6. Okay. So if you haven't already made an about page, you'll make an about page. It should have a jumbotron and it should have this text in it. All right. And then it says use attribute routing to shorten some of the URLs for the app. All right, I'm just going to leave it at that because we're going to go look at that and how you do that basically in the second exercise today. I wouldn't be surprised if you can do that and get it done in 10 or 15 minutes. All right, so that's all you have to do for that one. So let's jump into here and let's look at 6.1. So again, we're going to build this multi-page data-driven app with multiple routes. So in the first example, again, we're going to make changes to our our program.cs file to add additional routes. Then what we'll do is I'll just copy that program and basically remove those routes and put the stuff in using attribute routing. All right, we went over kind of it yesterday, so I'm going to start by coming in here and I'm going to create a folder that I'm going to call FAQs. All right. And in this FAQs folder, I'm just going to start up Visual Studio. Create a new project. You know the drill by now. ASP.NET Core Web App Model View Controller. All right, we'll call this one just FAQs. All right, we're going to put it into that folder. All right, and we'll call the solution name FAQs as well. That's fine. Next. We again are still not using HTTPS, so we can get rid of that and create. We've talked about this kind of thing before, but once this comes up like this, I'm not going to run it or anything. But what you do next is totally up to you as far as the order in which you do these things. Now, I'm going to look on here because I know I've done the project in previous semesters, so I want to look here. And I do have a database named FAQ, but I'll make another one and I'll call it FAQS. All right. So let's start by going into our models and let's add well, we're going to add 4 classes. The first one we're going to add is going to be called topic.cs. And there it is. All right. And we're not told anything special about requirements in here. So I just have public string topic ID with our get set and a public string. And we could make a topic name, but I'm just going to make it name with, again, a get set. All right. Now, we, of course, would not want to, since that's a primary key, we would not want to give that an initial value, but we can come in here and say equal string dot empty. Again, not really that mandatory that you do that, but that's what I'm going to do. So that's the first one right there. Not much to it. There won't be much to the second one either because that's our categories, and it'll look just like this, except it'll be called category and it'll be category ID. All right, so let's do that one next. I'm going to do a save all here and come in and create another one. So let's add a class and it'll be category dot. And again, we're not told of any specific requirements. Okay, so there's the second one. Not too much, not really too much that we've done thus far. All right, so we came in here and we made a topic class that had a topic ID and a topic name, and we made a category class that had a category ID and a category name. All right, so with that said, I'm again going to do a file, save all, and we're going to add one more, and that'll be our FAQ.cs model. So I'm going to add another class, capital F, capital A, capital Q, .cs. All right. This one will have a quote regular ID, unquote. So I could just do it like this, but I am going to call it FAQ ID. All right. We'll have a question. Again, we can put that in here, yeah. And we will have an answer. All right. And we will have a foreign key. And we will have a navigation property. And that is, of course, for our topic stuff. Oh, no semicolon. There we go. And we will do the same thing another foreign key, and another navigation property. All right. Now I can get rid of, just so you can see everything, I can get rid of all the blank lines, and then we should have room for you to see everything. And we'll move that down. All right. So that's it. And again, I am not going to take these and give them initial values, which probably means that I'm going to have in here, when I do this, I might very well have a bunch of warnings. That's okay. I'm not worried about that at all. So next, let's do our count. Good news is I've already given most of it to you. So let's come in here. I think I called it FAQs context. All right, .cs. And let's write this one. Even though we've got it, I'm going to write it from scratch anyway, not to waste time, but again, just to kind of review everything that's in here. Now, we want this to go in and inherit from DB context, but as of right now, of course, it won't. So we're going to go to our tools, NuGet package manager, manage NuGet packages for solution. We'll go over to browse and put in our Microsoft entity framework core tools, which will give us that one. And we'll add that and install. Then we will do it one more time. But instead of tools, we will put in our SQL server. All right, and there that is. And again, we will install that. And you've seen me multiple times. Always close it and reopen it just to verify for my own edification that indeed it's there. So when I go to install, there they are. There's SQL Server and the tools. Great. Okay. So the reason for doing that, of course, is now I can go in and do a :DB context. All right. Well, it doesn't like it. And you know why it doesn't like it, or you should, because we have to put in here using Microsoft Entity Framework Core. All right. So I should have done that first. And now I can put in DB context. All righty. And again, I could just copy the one in, but let's put it in so we can review again everything that's in here. When we get down to the data, I will copy that in. All right, so public, here's our constructor. And of course, as always, DB context, options. All right, FAQs, context, options, etc. I like to again put this so I can see all of it right there. And you should remember this from earlier, and that is the fact that what we're saying is if any options are going to be passed in here, these options are going to be handled by the parent of FAQs context, which is DB context. All right. Then I'm going to quickly come in and set up our 3 DB sets. And we can leave it as FAQs if you want. We could even capitalize it for the FAQ. It doesn't really matter. This should be topics. And our last one will be categories. All right. So like I said, again, nothing really new there. And we've got our protected, override, void, on model creating with our model builder. We of course don't need this. And now rather than typing, I will go in and copy that stuff from what I sent you earlier today. Hopefully you're doing the same. All right. So I'm up to here, the model builder thing, entity thing here. I think that's everything. We'll know in a moment. All right. So what do we have? All right. They used ID. I guess I used FAQ ID. I could go back and change mine, or I can just use what they have. Let's go back and change mine so it looks like theirs. Okay. So I'm going to go back to my FAQs here. Normally, I like to put that in there with the name of the model on there and the name of the table, but I'll leave it like that. So again, file, save all. And now when I jump back into my file here, I believe at least I have no errors. So we've got three topics, C#, JavaScript, and Bootstrap. We've got two categories, general and history. And we've got our, I think it's 6 or so, all right, FAQs. All right, two for C#, two for JavaScript, two for Bootstrap. And that's everything. And again, if you look down here right now, all I have in here are those things because I didn't put in string empty or put a question mark in there. If you want to get rid of those, just put one or the other, in. All right. So there's my file save all. Now everything just about is ready as far as I know. All right. Except, of course, we've got two more things to do. First, let's go into our app settings.json file. All right. And after our allowed hosts, we'll add a comma. And then in here, in double quotes, our connection strings. And we want to put that in. All right. And we call this FAQS context. All right. And this is what we always put in here. So and I've already got a database FAQ. So I'm going to call my database FAQs. And finally, our multiple result sets. We want to set equal to multiple active result sets to true as well. All right, now looking at this, let's see. It's all underlined. I need my ending double quote here. Okay. And I think that was the only problem. Let's double check the connection string. All right. FAQs context, our local DB, MSSQL local DB. Again, yours may be different. Database is FAQS. Trusted connection is true. Multiple active result sets is also true. Okay, that looks good so far. All right. Now we want to, of course, go into our program.cs file. All right. And in our program.cs file, we want to go in and after our builder services add thing with views, all right, we're going to come in and we're going to put in our configure services thing that we always put in. So I don't think we need builder. I think we can just start it with services. We'll see. Let me get back and fix that. Well, one thing I know that we need at the top, right now we're adding models, which we need to do. All right, but we again need to add entity framework core here. All right, and maybe it does want builder in front of this. I don't remember. All right, we'll look in just a minute. Hopefully we'll get that to work in a second. Move that over and move this over. All right, so builder.services, add DB context. Options, which is what this should say. Enter. All right, so let's see. Figure this out. Do we not put in builder there? Oh, let's see what it says. Let me put builder back in there. It's not configuration binder, it's get configuration. So it's configuration dot. I should have just grabbed an old one. So I think I'll do that right now and see what the heck the problem is. I grab this one right here. And try to replace this. So the only thing that should be wrong now are the names of my context file. All right. Hopefully you've got the same thing now. I'll leave that up there for a second. Maybe yours was correct to begin with. I don't know. All right, but I screwed up and it looks like it's correct now. All right, we've also again gone in, we did our app settings.json file and we have started making changes. We're going to add routes into this, but we're not going to do it right now, but we will add the routes in just a moment. All right, so what we're going to do next, I'm going to save this. And I don't think I'm going to need any more my app settings JSON, my context file, my FAQs.cs, my category topic for now. And I'm going to come in and open up the controller and the home controller. Okay. And I'm going to start this the way we typically started, in that I'm going to remove my diagnostics from here. I am going to remove all this logger stuff from here. I am going to remove the privacy stuff from here. And finally, I'm going to remove the additional logger stuff that's down at the bottom. So I've slimmed this down. So right now, all we've got in here is our iAction result for the index. Okay, now let's start putting in our code. Again, this is pretty typical from the way we do this. All right, we create our private variable, then we put in our controller. Like that. Again, like I said, not a whole heck of a lot new in there. All right. So we have an index in here. This is not an HTTP get or an HTTP set, or a post, I should say, not an HTTP get or an HTTP post. All right. I'm going to leave this here, but we'll modify it at the end. So let's just come in and do this right now. All right. Now, we may be past something in here, and that is a string for the topic and a string for the category. All right. And we're going to work with view bags in here. All right. Let's come up with 3 different view bag variables. Let me hit enter a couple times. Go back up to the top here. As I like to do, and you know that, both so you can read it and because I just like the way it looks better. All right, there will be our topics. And again, it's not a big thing. I can make it T again if I want to, but since category starts with C, I'll make it C. Okay. And here's a time, and you can see this already. It may have made sense to call this topic name and category name because it would have made your code in there would have been a little bit more self-documenting. All right. But it is actually fine the way it is. All right. We want one more view bag in here. All right. Whoops. And that should be topic. This morning I went and did, we went through a Flexbox exercise in the AWD1000 class, and I don't think I've ever typed as poorly as I did this morning. So, all right. So we're going to basically come in here now and create our FAQs. All right, we're going to make it an iQueryable. FAQ. And remember, this is why we brought in those navigation properties, so we can put the includes in here. and we'll do an order by. All right. So this is what we've put in here thus far. All right. Now, what we have to do is put in a couple if statements because it is possible, since these are strings, it is possible, since we're passing in these two things as strings, they could have been, there could have been nothing passed in. All right. Virtually, they are the empty string. So we want to check to see if the string for topic is null or empty. And we want to check to see if the string for category is null or empty. All right. So and then we're going to write virtually the same one, but just replace topic with category. You can see that the IntelliSense has already picked up a bunch of that. And then finally, our return, well, we want to return FAQS, but that isn't sufficient. We need to do that in a list. All right. So that's everything. So again, we're telling it to come in here and include in here our topic and our category, but just in case, all right, just in case we didn't provide one of those or both of those, all right, we're coming in here and doing that. All right. So what's left to do? Well, pretty much what you think would be left to do, and that is we have to write our view for the home page, and then we'll modify the view. All right, we will modify the view for the our underscore layout. Okay, and we didn't do this yet, mainly because I just thought about it right now, but let's go in and do this as well. So let's do a file, save all, and let's bring up the NuGet package manager. You will note if you look over here that I do not have a migrations folder in here. All right, you can see that. So let's come in and do our tools, NuGet package manager console. I'm going to clear it. And I'm going to do my add migration. And this will be our initial setup. No database provider configured for this DB context. Well, let's look. So that says it doesn't like something I've done evidently in my DB, in my context file. So let's look in there. And then I'll look in the settings file as well. That looks correct. I don't see anything that looks funky in there, but let's go back over to here and look at our program.cs. FAQs context, FAQs context. Oh, that looks right. Then let's look in our app settings.json, FAQs context. Double check server, local DB, MSSQL, local DB, database is FAQS. I don't have a database named FAQS. Nope. Trusted connection is true. Multiple active result sets is true. Looking for something that looks wrong in there. Look at the error. See anything that I did wrong, Grant?
I don't, and mine went through.
Huh. Okay, well, that's good. I'd rather have yours go through and mine not, but I'm still looking here. No database provider has been configured. A provider can be configured. No, I don't want to do that. Look one more time quickly in here. Connection strings. FAQs context. Again, I'm looking for something spelled wrong and I'm not seeing it, at least not there.
Mr. Scott, I've
Yeah.
got a semicolon after true on the end of that
Oh,
string.
right here.
Yep.
Okay.
I have it inside the quotes.
Ah, you're right, in there. Yeah, you're right. Yep. Well, let's see if that fixes it. Thank you. So let's clear this. Try it again. Nope. Oh, that should have saved. Back. Take a quick look at this one in here and go into my models and look at my context file in here. I don't see anything that looks different from what I've done. And this is a weird error for different reasons, but one of the reasons is, I mean, I can come in here and highlight this. I do have a constructor in there. That's what it says, is you're missing a constructor, unless something in the constructor is missing. there's the constructor. Oops. I'm looking for something that looks wrong. I'm going to grab this, bring that in, and then just change the name. But I don't think there's anything wrong with what I typed in there. Like that. I mean, I can keep going, but I'm not going to be able to build the database. So hey, all right. It must have been something I typed or didn't type in there. That's all I can think of. All right, but it has that. So let's update our database. See if that succeeds. That did. Good. So again, I should be able to go over and view my server object explorer here. All right. Refresh, bring that up, and I should now have an FAQs database in there. There it is. All right, I always like to double check. So there's my tables. There's topics. All right, with my 3 topics. There's FAQs with should be my questions. All right, and there's categories with my 3 categories. Okay, I don't know what the problem, or 2 categories. I don't know what the problem was, but evidently if there was one, it's been fixed. So database created. All right, so let's go over in here and let's go over into our views, and let's start with the home view. And again, I removed the privacy stuff, so I'm going to get rid of that. All right. And my index.cshtml, which right now is garbage. So I'm going to highlight all of it and get rid of it and start typing. Not real big, but not small either. It's about 65 or so lines. So at model, and you remember this is an I enumerable of type FAQ. All right. All right. Set our title. We could put an H1 in here. I don't know if we have to or not, but I don't know if they showed one or not. If they don't, I'll just get rid of it. All right. And like I said, this is where virtually all of the typing now is going to be done. Not all of it, but much of it. How's that? All right, so as it says there, that's going to be for all of our FAQs. All right, I'll leave that up there for a moment. So again, that's going to handle everything. All right, then underneath this, so we've got a big nav here, or whatever you'd want to call it, but we're also going to have underneath here another nav. Give you another second to finish up that one. That div over and move that over. And that. And let's move everything there over too. So nav div. All right, now we've got to make the other one for the categories. You have all that?
Yes, I'm ready.
All righty. So I'm going to steal a little bit of this here. Let's see. Uh, I'm looking here. I just want to make sure I don't screw it up because I'm prone to do that. So let's see. All right. I'm going to move that way over. Not done yet, but almost. Do you have all this?
Yeah, I think I'm ready to go on.
All righty. Then let's do the last one here. All right, 4 or 5 more lines. Make that 3. 4. And that should, I believe, be it. Do you have all that?
Yes, I've got it.
Okay. I'm going to do a file, save all. 2 more things to do, then we can test it. First is I want to bring up the layout file under shared. All right, let's see. Doc type, fine, fine. Head is fine. All right. And the body, again, we'll clean this up quite a bit. I'm just going to get rid of everything that's in here for right now and redo it. All right. We don't need this footer stuff in here, so I'm just going to get rid of everything that's in the body and redo it. All right, so since we're going to put an H1 in here that is going to say frequently asked questions, I'm going to quickly go back again to my index.cs HTML and at the top, remove that F1. Okay. It's redundant, that's why. Okay, so we've got an H1. Here's our header. All right, again, if you'd let me know when you're finished.
I'm finished with that.
All right, then let's jump back to our program.cs file and add our routes. All right, so I'm going to go down to the bottom, and again, you already know this. We want our default route to always go last. All right, so I'm going to add 3 other ones before this. Don't know, but it did. Oh, okay, I know why. All right, when you're going to put in multiple ones like this, which is what we want to do, we need to say app.use endpoints and then endpoints like this. And then inside of curly braces here, I'll fix it in a minute. We need to put all of our routes in there. All right. So what I'm telling you is we need to take this right here and remove that and put it up in here along with the other ones that we're going to put in. We'll fix the syntax in just a minute. So this is a name you give it, but since this one will be for categories, calling it category seems to make sense, and calling the next one topic seems to make sense. Semicolon. All right. I'm hoping this is going to clear out these errors as we get going here, but we'll see in just a minute. This is going to be our bottom one. And again, it will need an endpoints dot. So you can see how those errors pretty much have gone. We don't need the dot app in there anymore. All right, we'll fix it. Well, whatever I did, I just screwed it up, but we'll fix it anyway. All right, so those are the first two. And I'm going to copy this one and then see if I can clean it up. So this is category. That is topic. Boy, oh boy, come on. All right, now let's see if we can figure out what all these errors in here are about. So app.use endpoints, that's good. Curly. Route, category, patterned. Looks correct. It's recommending in here to use this discard. If you remember that, it's basically just a shortcut. Don't believe the last time I did it, I had to do that, but that's done that. So let's see, what else do we have in here? App.use routing. We're not doing any authorization, so we really could remove that, but I don't think that's going to do anything with the errors though. So app.use endpoints. Top level registrations instead of endpoints. Okay. Well, the last time I did it like this, it worked just fine. I'll tell you what, it is 1:13. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go look and see what the author did here and try to copy theirs in and see if I copy theirs in, if it changes anything. So give me a second here. We'll come back at 1:25. Comment all that out. Put that in. Like anything we put in there. Lovely. It's the only place that makes sense. We can't put it here. No. It's in the reception page. All that stuff is in there. Mhm. All right. Um, I basically went in and removed everything, so it looked like it did when we started. All right. And I'll leave that up there for a second. But in other words, after the user authorization, this is what you get to begin with. All right. And I'm going to see if I go back into my controller and go in there and add the decorators if it works with that. All right. So in other words, this is really 6.2 I'm doing right now and not 6.1. So let me do a file save all right here. And I want to go back, like I said, into my, I don't have it open, the home controller. All right, we're going to add some decorators here before our index. In particular, we'll add 4 of them. All right, so what we've done here is, like I said, basically the second one. We put route decorators on top of our index in lieu of trying to set the routes individually. And I'm going to have to go back and see what has changed. All right. I ran the same program I did last semester that worked, and it doesn't work now. So let's just look at this and see if indeed it's going to work now. Knowing the luck I'm having, probably not, but we'll see anyway. All right, that's a good start. There's all FAQs. So there they all are. So there should be 6. What is, when, good. Bootstrap, it should go down to just the 2 for Bootstrap. C sharp, just the 2 for C sharp. JavaScript, just the 2 for JavaScript. All right, if I click general, all right, and if I click general for all, those are the what, that's everything basically. So I got the all, and if I click general now, come on, there's the what is, and if I click history, there's those 3. All right. Are you with me, Grant? Does what we just did right there make sense?
Yeah, mine seems to be working.
Good. Now, I don't know what the problem is by putting in our own routes. So I am going to investigate that. And tomorrow, hopefully, I'll have an answer for you. But in essence, what you have there is this is the answer for 6.2 is you remove those routes that we're going to go into our program.cs file and you replace it with what's up here. You could make the case and say, anyway, well, this is a heck of a lot easier. That. All right. But I'm going to go back because, hey, I need to find out what the heck the answer is. So I will go and check that out and see if I can find out what the problem is. So again, tomorrow we will start with that. And hopefully I'll have an answer and I'll have 6.1 and 6.2 for you. Again, you are responsible yourselves for adding that route and adding the thing in there for the about for the Sports Pro management. And also tomorrow I'm going to build the hot number 2 test uh, right in front of your very eyes. I'm probably going to do that as 2 different videos. So if we get this one to work, I'll do that and then I'll stop and start again and do that just because since I'm really answering something, just like the other day when I redid Hot 1, all right, I want to make sure that it's private because I don't really want to be putting whole tests out there. All right. Questions on anything?
No, not right now.
Okay.
Thank you.
So like I said, I'll try to see if I can come up with the answer to that and see why the heck that's screwed up. All right. Then done a little early today or a lot early, depending on your point of view. And I will talk to you tomorrow. Have a good day.
Thank you. You too.